All right, hey, today is Friday, October 18th, 2024. Bitcoin is on the rise, and it is meeting resistance to its previous all-time highs of 2020 November of 2021 of 69K. Billy Madison, it's a movie reference, sorry. Anybody under the age of 35, Billy Madison would be proud of Bitcoin right now. And altcoins are very unexciting. There is a specific reason why. Anybody who's a fan of altcoins should know, and you should have handy, and you should pretty much only follow price analysts who reference this chart perhaps daily, especially when it looks like this. Crypto price analyst. Bitcoin dominance is over a key area. It's a descending line. So Bitcoin dominance used to be higher, but it has never been over this line ever in its history, even when Bitcoin dominance was 99%. So if you, as a crypto fan, crypto investor, crypto trader, crypto noob, if you are a fan of crypto and you like altcoins or even NFTs for that matter, your altcoins on average will not do well until this chart starts going down and it has a reversal. Altcoins do not have a chance in hell on average to do well when Bitcoin dominance is doing something bullishly it has never done before. Within the my private community, or both private communities, YouTube and Discord, links to the Discord to check that out, even as a free member, are in the description section of all my videos, or almost all my videos. In there, we have talked about signals that we're looking for when we can confirm there is a bull market going on now. I'm not necessarily going to give all that information out for free, but it does involve this chart. So if you are planning on, my altcoins, when am I going to 10x? My altcoins, when am I going to double or 20x or 100x? It won't happen until this is not going up in a very reliable up way with a upside target even higher than that. Now, there are some exceptions to that. The larger the market cap of a coin, of an altcoin, the greater possibility it has to actually outperform Bitcoin as Bitcoin dominance is rising. So, coin market cap, for anybody new out there, because this is a public, so I know some people in my community were like, we've already, we know this stuff. You've already told us this. I get it. But for anybody out there who might be new, or didn't listen, or didn't, you were zoned out during that time, CoinMarketCap organizes the coins by their size in market cap. So the next one under this, its market cap will be smaller by definition, at least on CoinMarketCap. That is the market cap, and the website is called CoinMarketCap. So they go down from here. It's filtered by this. Can you refilter it? Yeah, I can refilter it by what has made the most gains in 24 hours. Boom. But that's only the top 100. That's only the top 100. See, it only goes down to one. Yeah, it's only the top 100. I'd have to switch pages for that to happen. So if your coin's on page 1 or page 2, the higher up on the page of CoinMarketCap you're on, the greater likelihood you have that your altcoin actually has a chance to do okay. But most of us aren't interested in just page 1 or the top 10, top 20 coins. So if you are particularly me, I plan, because also by definition, smaller market cap coins have a greater chance to have a better ROI. There was a large YouTuber who might not be a YouTuber anymore who used to post thumbnails and big videos and got amazing clicks. Become a millionaire with Cardano. No. Unless you have 50K minimum to start off with in Cardano, You don't have a chance to become a millionaire with Cardano. That's not going to happen. Even with 50K, that probably won't happen. And that's if you sell at the exact top. It's not going to happen. It's too big of a market cap. It's too difficult for it to go up. It takes too much money to make it go up. So if you see anybody out there making videos about how to become a millionaire with Cardano, just realize they're full of crap, and most likely full of crap, unless the content explains why it's not possible. I could find and I probably will make a thumbnail like that, become a millionaire with Cardano, and the content is, hey, I will slap you, and let me tell you why it's not going to happen. I could bait people like reverse bait people, reverse clickbait. Like, no, stop buying into this. So personally, me, that's redundant. Me personally, I am more interested in mid caps and small caps because I am not slinging around six figures in crypto. The folks who need to focus on the top 100 or even the top 50 are folks who are slinging multiple six figures at crypto. They can't piss with the coins that I'm pissing with, 5 figures, right? They can't do it. So there is a time and place for the large caps, which by definition will on average have much lower ROI than the small caps and mid caps. So there's a time and place. But a lot of those big YouTubers who only cover these, they're slinging multiple six figures. Most of their viewers are slinging 4 figures or 3 figures or 5, and they think they're going to become a millionaire. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It won't happen. You would have to go down to like page 4 or 3 or 4 or lower in order for that to happen. All right. So before I went on that tangent, the reason I went down that road is I'm trying to explain the importance of Bitcoin dominance. The smaller market cap of coin you are holding or coins you're holding, the less likelihood of them to do anything to the upside until Bitcoin dominance chart has reversed. I will leave you with that thought without going into the full details of my plan on how, with my community, I am going to confirm that we are in a bull market. Thus, I will personally confirm the bull market for myself, not for all you. I will share my ideas, and that would be my personal trigger, not a suggestion to you all, to make sure I am 100% exposed, I am as exposed in crypto as what I will ever want to be for this cycle. Right now, I'm only, I think I'm about I'm less than a third in right now. And again, over the next 2 weeks, I think the end is near. I think the bull run's just around the corner. Could be as late as February. Could be as early as November 1st. I think it's going to be between November and February when you could just let a chimpanzee pick your altcoins and you look like a genius. Because that's when everything is up. A chimpanzee will be a genius if he or she is able to throw money at crypto. Everybody looks smart when everything's up, all right? But it's not going to go up until this reverses. All right, you might want to know what Bitcoin price is doing here. So I want to tell you why. I want to show you some charts, okay? I know things are mostly bullish on a macro sense. I need to show you why. There is ample room for one more violent ass move down. Probably not scraping as low as 40K. I wouldn't guess that aggressive. But 48K, a little bit below 48K, Bitcoin, which would be a pretty massive, that's a 20K drop from current price. That's massive. I want to tell you why that is still possible. And that strong possibility, it's not a probability. I do not think that that is probable. I think it's highly possible. Strong double digits, 35%, 30% chance. This is the main reason I am not more exposed into crypto than I am. And am I trying to scare some of you a little bit? I mean, if that's the word you want to use, then yeah, especially if you're fully exposed to crypto and you don't know what a stop is, or you don't know how to scramble out of a losing position, yeah, I hope I do scare you, if that describes you. But for most of you, the intent of what I'm about to say is going to the intent will be to prepare you or to make you think to then get prepared, to then prepare yourself if you're not prepared. All right. Bitcoin seriously could have a 20K drop, and I want to show you why in the charts. So let's go do that after I create the timestamp for that. And I first started this stream trying to address all the moon boys out there who think they're going to 5x tomorrow, and it's just not going to happen. All right, here we go. I'm going to go, I have, for newer folks, so this is a public one. I know I have a lot of paying members on here as well, I know, and I'm ignoring you. But I have my charts, I have 3 different Bitcoin charts, because what the biggest players, aka BlackRock and Coinbase, actually Coinbase is a bigger player than BlackRock by a lot. They have way more Bitcoin than BlackRock. Way more. I think only Satoshi has more Bitcoin than Coinbase. But the biggest players in the room who move Bitcoin the most, they typically are, their algorithms do coincide with one of my 3 charts. And sometimes it rotates. And I'm rarely are they looking at something I'm missing. But many times I don't know which chart they are looking at, so I have 3 price paths or 3 main ideas on what price could do. So I can probably get rid of this for no, I will hide this for now. Oops, I didn't hide it. And let's go over what all this is. Let's get you oriented. This is your crypto orientation. This is what I call my super mega macro Bitcoin chart. For example, why is it super macro mega? That sounds retarded. What kind of YouTuber am I watching right now? This is the bottom of the channel. This is a channel. This whole thing is a price channel. That's the bottom. That's the 1/4 line, half court or halfway, 3/4 line, top. That is the bottom. The 1/4 line, Bitcoin stayed above, went above and stayed above after it hit $14. So Bitcoin never touched this line again since it was $14 until it went down to its $15,500 low. Have you ever seen that before? Okay, that's when you hit the like button and you share the link with your friends. So from this perspective, Bitcoin is technically as bearish as it's ever been. But in reality, what you're seeing is the bull markets produce less, and so it's diminishing returns is the word. But I try to keep things less fancy. The ROI, how much it goes up on a percentage basis, just is reduced every time. You make less and less gains every cycle. All right. So this shows you how greatly, like how strong diminishing returns are. We are below an area that Bitcoin hasn't even seen, hasn't even touched since it passed it at $14. That's quote unquote bearish. And if this 1/4 line marks the top of the bull market, which honestly is not a bad guess, I think it would do a failure pattern above, which means it goes a little bit above, then immediately goes below and stays below. So I would guess that, even though this is not my bull market guess necessarily, but if it is a 4-year cycle, this is November of 2025, and a failure pattern above is $250,000. So this is why 200,000 to $250,000 Bitcoin is a fantastic target. Fantastic. Why? It just means it's going to use as resistance something it used to be way over for its whole life. It should hit that line. It should. But there are many reasons why it might not, because the biggest players in the room are now different, and Bitcoin does not move like this anymore. Bitcoin is a new animal, so there are many reasons why that might not get hit. Again, the people who move Bitcoin the hardest are now no longer the same as the previous 3 cycles. So it might not be hit. But if miners and the OGs were still the biggest players, the OGs who mined it and had 100,000 Bitcoin, because, you could buy Bitcoin for a penny, those people, OGs, and then the miners who had a lot of money and a decent amount of Bitcoin, who's essentially created the 4-year cycles because of the halvening. When they were in charge of price for the most part, I could confidently say that this would be our target or slightly higher. I can't confidently say that, but it is a fantastic target. Okay, so I thought I would give you a little bit of bullish idea before I tell you why this could slam down on your face and your altcoins lose 50% or more from where they are right now. When Bitcoin had a bear market after its 20K top, and it went down to roughly 3,200, then screamed up to 14K. That move was 345%. So from the bottom, what does that say? 348%. Same size. All right. Well, what happened after that? A 72% correction. Of course, that's with coronavirus. Okay, well, let's say it would have only gone down to there. Just hit this nice trend line here and then bounce. So without coronavirus, it was going to hit right there. And I had my limit buys at 5K before coronavirus was even known to Americans. So I already had targets of this hitting. It went a little lower, but it was a great buy. I don't regret buying Bitcoin hard at 5K back in 2020. So how big of a percentage down is that? 60, let's say, call it 60%. Well, Bitcoin just went up the same amount, so why can't it go down close to this? Let's say a little less. Let's say 50%. Well, what would 50% do? It would perfectly make you hit the bottom of this line. Just the bottom. So we're using the quarter line as resistance. Well, what if we slam down? You would use that as support. Just like here, it went between this line and this line. Boom, boom. Here, it went between this line and bounced on this line. Boom, boom. Between lines. So a 50% move down after the exact same move up, like literally the exact same size, and it has a perfect target. It does make sense. But you'd say, well, is there anything, like it looks too bullish to hit? Yeah, it really does. There are some other hidden things out there. Watch. This one's the scare. I'll start off with the scariest one. I want you to be prepared for this possibility. You might get your ass handed to you. And you know how much more money BlackRock would make if they slammed it down with their shorts open and then bought it back up? They would make, it would be so much more lucrative than a mono-directional or a one-direction move. Big money makes more money when there's volatility. So the biggest players in the room would make more money if all this happened. Yeah, it probably won't happen. We little guys are going to win. You might not. This is the 2-month stochastic RSI. Here's the 20K top. Oops, sorry. I thought this was a date. That's 2020. 2017 top of 20K. Guess what this is? This is the 64K top of 2021. 4 years later. About 1,200 days. Oh, what the fuck is this? I only use the F word once or twice a month. Sorry. Especially if you have young kids around. I apologize. I don't cuss a whole lot. That was my allowance of one a month. What's that? How many days does that say? 1,200? Huh. This suggests the bull market might already be over. But what also could happen is it has a nice little dip down and then correct for a lower high on this chart, but it would be a much higher high in price. It would be bearish divergence. But you need it to come down for that to happen. Or we're already at the top. That's it. So which one do you want? Do you want the bull market to already be over and it's just down from here? Or would you prefer a 20K move down so we can get this nice dip and then zoom up for 6 months? Like so. Like something like that. Hopefully that's around the end. Yeah, this is the end of 2025. It would need to look like something like that. But that means like 60 to 100 days of downside and slash sideways. Look at this chart. That's a 20K top. That's the 64K top. That's 1,200 days away. This is 1,200 days away. What is going on? If you didn't know about this, that's when you hit the like button. And share the link of this even after we're done with your friends. Because I am time stamping this for the most part. So, the nastiest... That's the 2-month stochastic RSI. All right. That's two things. So just price structure, zooming up from a bottom, the 3,200 up to 14K was 345-ish%. Our 15,500 up. Our $15,500 low here up to 69K is the exact, like almost to the 1%, is also 345. It's actually 348, 345% up. This went down 72%, but corrected for no coronavirus, 60%. Well, a 50% drawdown. My finger, I cut my finger off. Damn it. There we go. There we go. The bottom of this mega macro channel, or super macro mega channel line, which I described earlier, is a perfect target 50% down. And actually, I didn't tell you what price that would give us, would it? I think it'd be a little lower than 48, even though I really personally don't think anything lower than 48 is going to happen. Yeah, it's 44. That's just it's a really good target. That's a wick below 48. I'm telling you, mid-40s is still in the cards, folks. I'm not done. This could happen. All right, there are many more things in the chart. Although, if you stare at price is king. I don't see it happening right now. I'm not going to lie. This is pretty bullish. But the bigger time frames are saying that this is noise. Potentially. But the noise could then turn those bigger time frames around and win the war. It's a tug of war. Low time frames, big time frames. All right. So we got a cyclical thing, and we have the stochastic RSI of the 2-month. All right. Couple more things. Tether dominance. If you have never heard of tether dominance and you watch YouTubers talk about price, then you might be not watching the YouTubers you need to watch who cover price. I'm not talking about news people. Folks cover news, then they don't need to talk about price or this. But tether dominance, let's go to here. Okay. So once, similar to that 1 quarter line when Bitcoin went above it and stayed above it since it's $14 and never went below it, this white line here is, let me get rid of this, is the same concept, but on a shorter time frame. $2,000 days of support, 2,000 days acting as support. You heard that, 2,000. And tether dominance just went below it. What is tether dominance? It moves the opposite of crypto. That's it. When Bitcoin and crypto go up, or just Bitcoin goes up, this goes down. That's just the way it is. Over time, this bleeds a little bit, the chart bleeds because other stable coins are entering the market. So this is not an exact perfect correlation with Bitcoin on a percentage basis over time, but general direction is nearly a perfect negative correlation. But this does bleed versus that with a perfectly negative correlation. So what used to be support becomes future resistance. But also it looks like it could get back on top of it potentially, or just keep bumping its head on it. All right, so it has already hit it a couple times, but it has not tested this line here. It looks like it's gonna go test it, and I drew this on the exact day that I made my guess. When I make these types of lines, this little thing, this guy right here, so now I'll put Control Z so it goes back exactly where it was. That is the exact day I made this guess, and I've left it there. Not a bad freaking guess, is it? I think it needs to hit the intersection roughly of this double white of this double white line and this thing. Let me show you why I think it needs to hit that line. Just watch. Very simple. So remember, it's a negative correlation. If this goes up, Bitcoin will go down. Now, why do I think it needs to hit that red line? All right. Well, this is the third thing in a succession of things that tells you why sub 50K, a 20K drop is completely in the cards still. I'm telling you, it could happen. I need you to be prepared. It is not probable, but it is strong double-digit chance that we see below 50K Bitcoin again. All right. So, sorry, I was choking on my my water there. All right. Don't want to choke on here. Actually, we'll just take really recent price. Watch. Which one do I want to use? Let's go to a different chart. That's a little... Go here. All right, so when you have a reversal on something, even though I can't tell right here that Bitcoin was going to reverse, can't tell. Let me move my back moved over. Yes, I am. But if it were to reverse, it's easy to guess just with it's not quite a 45, it's more like 23% angle. But Bitcoin almost always follows the same angles, almost every time. That's a really steep angle, so that's not quite as common. But if you just take some downside moves, or even on smaller time frames, and just take the average. And so once it crosses above here, if it were to cross above, it usually accelerates. So once it gets above that line, it accelerates. It's just over and over and over. That's just how these work. That's just how it works. Once you get over here, once you get over that line, even though it accelerated from the bottom, but here it had to come back down to test it, then it accelerated, which is the second most likely thing. You go above it barely, you come test it, and then you accelerate. But you typically accelerate when you get above it. Here, it couldn't get above it. And then finally, it got above it. And what did it do? It accelerated. These are what I call slope lines for the new folks. I know. My members who are on this, you're probably like, yeah, we already know this stuff. I get it. All right. So, but most of the angles are pretty, even though this is very steep. Like that is a very steep one. I wouldn't be expecting that. So in this move, I would expect it less steep. I would, put it somewhere like this. So if there's going to be a reversal, I would expect this line to be hit 2 or 3 times. All right, well, let's zoom in and replay price. That's kind of my guess on where it would need to hit. And play. once, twice. And guess what happens if it goes above? Remember, the word starts with an A? It accelerates. That's just how it works. But it usually is hit. So go back here. How many, you just had your big separation from it. So after you separate from a line like that, you need to go and hit it. Clearly, it already hit it once or twice up here, but then it's separated from it. It needs to hit it again. Am I thinking that we could get a really big one where this accelerates up and Bitcoin goes down to 20K? No, I don't think that'll happen. But I would love for that to happen, like really cheap crypto at that point. But that would be scary if that happened. Actually, you don't want it to accelerate above here, or we're all screwed. Or it won't be a bull market. But I think it's got to be hit for that exact reason. So it's another thing, or I think it would be very reasonable for it to hit. I think it's got a great chance to be hit for all the reasons I just said. So that's the third or fourth thing that I'm showing you here, trying to let you know, hey, if you are fully into crypto or 75% into crypto, into your altcoins, and you don't know that a 20K drop, not all in one day or 1 week, a 20K drop is not just possible, but it's strongly possible. I wouldn't say probable. It's probably more than 33% likely. I just gave you thing after thing. It's like a chain of different events showing you why you need to consider this as a possibility. And the way that will help you, not just say, "Ooh, I'm going to tell my friends Bitcoin could hit 48K. No, this is mostly valuable to people who are interested in getting into crypto to some degree, or especially important for the people who are 75% to 100% in crypto, maybe even 50 to 100% in crypto. And again, for anybody who jumped on late, me personally, I'm not making this suggestion to you. I actually wish I were a little bit heavier into crypto, but I'm somewhere between 25 and 33% in, somewhere close to 30% in crypto, of what I want to be before everything is just straight up. Did I scare you? Or was this more informative? But for some of you, if you're fully in crypto, I hope this was a little scary. And I hope that I conveyed the message in a way that was relatable, understandable, and clear. Lower prices are absolutely, so in summary, there are many higher time frame reasons, which means the big boys, the biggest time frames that take a long time to turn around. And all this in Bitcoin, going up here and doing this, that doesn't even touch the big time frames. Like, it takes a lot of this stuff to change the big time frames. Those big time frames are saying, this is just noise. We're going down still. But it does look slightly more likely that the lower time frames are going to reverse those larger signals down. It looks like that now. But those bigger time frames and other signals that I just showed you have not turned around yet, and they could easily pull down price and influence the biggest money in crypto to say, hey, we are going to make more money if this happens. So let's do that. And it screws all of you, and you'll get caught with your pants down. And so that's the final end point, like to make it full circle, going back to the idea that BlackRock and Coinbase, the biggest players in crypto, they will make more money. If you don't think Coinbase has their own side stuff, probably legal, but if you don't think they're moving crypto a little bit, you're ignorant, completely ignorant. And hopefully you don't think that, because you're probably not ignorant. But the biggest players in crypto, they will make more money if that happened. They will. That doesn't make it more probable to happen, because they're not going to fight a bunch of bulls, smaller bulls below them. If the market says it really wants up and it's going to take too much power to go against them, it's probably, the little and middle guys all teaming up against potential big money dropping stuff. They won't do it. They have risk analysts and all that good stuff. They can tell how many millions or hundreds of millions of dollars they need to to sell in order to hit their targets. And if it's too much or too much risk, they won't happen, which kind of looks like that's the way it is now. I think I would guess, even though I'm not an expert, I've never sat on a hedge fund desk slinging 8 digits, 10 million plus. I've never been on that side, but price is king, and price is making me fairly confidently guess there's a little too much risk for the big boys to do that at this point in time. But it's still extremely possible. All right, let me see if I got anybody on here. Jimbo Khan. Well, hey, Jimbo, I got loose timestamps in here, and yeah, I got decent. They're not great timestamps. I only got 3, but they cover the most stuff. All right, I'm not going to stay on a whole lot longer. It is Friday night, and I've been working since 6 a.m. and it's now 6:40, and I'm tired of shit. I will cover KDA. Oh, Osea, yeah, 50% in. Yeah, and I also just said, Osea, that I wish I were more into crypto. I do. I do wish I wish I were closer to half in. And I think being 50% in is. I am personally right now only about 30% in. And I also stated during the stream, I wish I were a little bit more in. But the reason I'm in 50% or less, I wish I were in 50. But the reason I'm not in more than 50% is because of this potential. But no, the only reason I'm not in 50% right now is because money flow. I have to wait for banks, and then Coinbase traps my money for a week. I would be 50% in right now. Absolutely. And I did just say that, and I would stand by that. I think now's, yeah, the end is near. The likelihood of all this scary stuff happening is less than 50%. So I would want to be around 50% in. Yeah. And so this, and again, Osea, that's also why I stated this is mostly pertaining to people who are 50% in to or 75 to 100% in, or maybe even 50 to 100% in. If you are not considering this and you're one of those people, you're going to get caught with your pants down. But if you're 50% in and you know this is a possibility, you're already mentally prepared. You're not going to start selling at the lows, right? Right when it's about ready to turn around because you're freaking out. So if you're 50% in and you can expect stuff and you know, hey, this is just where I DCA my last 50%, then it's going to be healthy. Does that make sense? So yeah, I do think that I have the personal opinion that being 50% in exposed into crypto roughly right now, around this time, close to 50% in, is probably a pretty good target. Yes. I did just say that, and I will say it again. All right, KDA. Rita, I have never, or have I looked at IMX before? Well, Jimbo Khan, you actually interested me with, you said a chart looks like no other chart or small cap. So I'm going to skip down to his. Plus, I don't plan on answering a lot of questions. I just had 3 different streams in a row in private community. So, or was it 3? Yeah, it was. I'm not going to do a whole bunch. I'm here mostly for public YouTube because most of I'm getting pretty warm. The Moon Boys are coming out, and I got a shirt with a moon on it of a coin that got delisted back in the day. It's an older crypto shirt, but yeah, and just I don't think people are realizing that their altcoins from current price could easily go down 70% as Bitcoin makes a 20K drop down. Like I felt right now is the perfect time to do this. OGPU. All right, let's do it. Oh, it's because it's versus wrapped Ethereum. And so if Ethereum price is going up and OGPU's price versus the dollar is also going up, then this will go sideways. So OGPU, let's call OGPU as blue, and Ethereum is a different color. Let's say red. In this case, OGPU's, this chart would be somewhere in the middle of this. So in order for this chart to truly go up, OGPU has to be, versus Ethereum. Ethereum's got to be going up about this fast, and OGPU's got to be going like this in order for this chart to have a lot of giddy up. Or, in rare circumstances, if Ethereum drops and OGPU or whatever this is called goes up, that's also how this chart could fly up. So this is not versus the dollar. So if they are both going up at the same time, red and blue, at the same speed, then this chart goes sideways. So this is not versus price. But if you go to the DEX screener, so hopefully that was the answer to your question, unless you're more nuanced than that and you already knew that and you're looking for something else, but I think that was the answer to your question. But I want to double check something. Yeah, so if you have it versus Solana, I bet the chart is more downish. That would be my guess. I haven't looked at it, but I would bet it's less slideways up. The hell is this? Okay. It just came out on this? All right, well, that didn't work. Yeah, that would be my answer to your question. Okay, and then yeah, and if it's slightly going up versus Ethereum, Ethereum has in general been going up for a year too. So this has been going up slightly faster than Ethereum for a year. Yeah. Yep. Now I could probably get the price chart here. These degenerate coins are hard to see versus price. Oh, this doesn't even... So, okay, here's another reason. This doesn't even trade. Swap is not trading. That's why. It doesn't trade on a real exchange. It looks like swap. So, unless you have DEXs out there, this is not record. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. So, the main place where this trades is Uniswap, and swapping is not trading. So the chart's going to look slightly different as well. But it's not versus the dollar. All right. All right, let's look at Kadena, and then I will probably jump off of here and call this a week and a sexy 13-hour day. I haven't had a 13-hour day in a while since I did crypto full-time. Getting old sucks. All right, Harrison, I'll answer yours too, then I'm going. Oh, KDA's up on my bigger cap. I should probably pull KDA down to my small caps at this point, but... All right, well, it's supposed to bounce in here. What did you want to know about it? Yes, Viacoin. I know, I'm wearing it as a joke, yeah. Hey, man, it went up 250,000% 2 bull markets in a row. I mean, it had its day. I think it was the second coin to ever hit 1 million market cap, made big news in crypto. It was a big deal. I did not anticipate it getting delisted like that on Binance. Oh shit, there was one more bearish thing I forgot to show you about Bitcoin. I'll save it for the next one though. It's almost as juicy as that 2-month stochastic RSI. And it looks similar to this. This is pretty good. Okay, so this is almost in a weekly RSI hot pocket, but you need this. So this white line is the EMA, 12 EMA of the RSI. You need the EMA in a positive slope, which it is, but you also need it out of the red, and then you need one more bounce like that. Then it has permission to fly, like macro fly, as in it doesn't come down for 6 months. Now, clearly, you'd have some daily, corrections where you have 3, 4, 5 red days in a row, but on a weekly scale, you could have all green, like almost a sea of green candles with dotted reds, right? So I think it's not far away. I think this could be really ready to macro fly within 2 months, even a month and a half potentially. This is good ingredients, but it is not out of the woods yet. It's the RSI is barely out of the red zone. Hasn't even confirmed being out of the red zone yet. This could tick down because it doesn't close till Sunday night. And the EMA is still in the red zone. So it's not quite ready to fly, but this is not a bad time to strongly consider DCAing with a fair amount of confidence. I might DC at this point. Yeah, that is very close to being ready. Like I said, and so this KDA really is just, it is agreeing with my general feeling, my gut feeling. My gut feeling could be wrong. I feel that the end of what we consider low altcoin prices, the mid caps and small caps that haven't flown up yet, I think the end is near. I think the end is going to be around November 1st to middle of February. I think that is all the time we got. I'm hoping and still guessing that it's going to be mid-February before the bull market is like obvious and retail starts coming, because then we start talking about to other people how much money we're making. Then they all come. Then we make 5 times much more money as long as you sell to them, right? You have to sell to the noobs to make money. If you don't sell, you don't make money. Just because your account is 50 times higher than it was when you started, if you haven't sold any crypto, you're not 50xing. Like it's not yours. Like it's not your money yet. It's crypto. It's your crypto, but it ain't your dollars. And you didn't 50x until you sell. So, and don't forget, once retail's here, and retail's here, your plan is to sell to them. You have to sell to them. You can't make money unless you sell. But most people say, "Ooh, I think it's gonna go another 10x." And it's easy to do. It's easy to do. Yeah, I think KDA is it's in very solid posturing. I think it could easily be within a month and a half away from having a very fantastic beginning of a move. I don't think it's quite there yet. Before that happens, I could easily see it come up to this area where these two lines cross. I could see it hit right here, and then so close to $1, and then have a nice correction, wait for a minute, and then macro. So the first time this hits $1, if I DCA'd into KDA, I would probably 20 bag personally. 20 bag means of my KDA, I would sell a fifth of it or 20% in order to buy back lower. I would confidently 20 bag between 90 cents to $1 actually the first time it hits. But it's close. It's very close. All right, and then Harrison, I really got to go. Yeah, unless the world, the election. Oh my gosh, the world will continue. Like for the American conservatives, the world is still here with Biden, who can barely string together a sentence, and then addressing liberals. Okay, which there really shouldn't be very many liberals in crypto, but if you're out there, you're still welcome. But I'm neither, by the way. I'm more libertarian, and I think both parties are pretty wacky. That's just my opinion. You don't have to have the same opinion. But If you're a liberal, 2016, some megalomaniac, what do they call him? Megalomaniac psychopath was president for 4 years, and the world was still here. Like, we're all still here. Like, we got a guy who can't even string a sentence together and gets lost on stage. Then we have a megalomaniac psychopath, like, back to back, and we're all still fine. Like, it's gonna be okay. I promise. And if it's not okay, it's probably from something outside of the country, aka Russia or Iran. It won't be because of the president necessarily. All right. And even in that case, Russia sucks at war. And they always have, and they still do. Even when they were Soviets, they sucked at war. They just threw human bodies to the front line. Just so incompetent, and they're still incompetent. So I don't have much of a worry about Russia doing anything bad to us. Worst case, take out a city or two. Yeah, that could be pretty bad, and that is possible. But I think they're too incompetent to do anything like that. Okay, because history shows that they are, and they still are. What was your question about AI tech? I thought we covered this, mine. Bottom. And what is the bull prices? Bottom. This is postured to move with Bitcoin. So I bet this chart versus Bitcoin. Is this the right chart? Yes. What's the ticker? The ticker is all AI tech. That's the whole thing. Does it not trade versus Bitcoin? It doesn't trade versus Bitcoin. That's actually not a bad thing. I think this is postured to move with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin drops, let's say 5%, this will probably drop 8 to 10. But that won't be true if Bitcoin goes up because Bitcoin dominance is too strong. So so here's the thing. This is postured to move with Bitcoin with some nuance or caveat, whatever word you want to say, just a little bit of salt seasoning on there. Okay, so please listen. This is very important. This is clearly in a waiting position. It's waiting for Bitcoin to make a choice. But every time Bitcoin moves up, this can't follow to the same percentage gain as Bitcoin because Bitcoin dominance is racing up. I guess it could, but it's just unlikely. It's actually more likely to go sideways as Bitcoin has a 2% day. But if Bitcoin flies up on a 10% day, this will probably have, this could be between a 5 and a 15% day. Right? So moving with Bitcoin to the upside and or more sluggishly when Bitcoin is up. However, if Bitcoin is down, it not only will move with Bitcoin down, but it'll probably move double the percentage because Bitcoin dominance is too strong right now. Altcoins are staying steady as Bitcoin makes a 3% day, a 5% day over and over. And when Bitcoin has one red day of 2%, what do all the altcoins do? They go down 5 and 6%. So they went flat, and all they did as Bitcoin went up was flat, and then Bitcoin has one correction day, and then it goes, ugh. So it only went down as Bitcoin goes up. Does that make sense? That's what happens to alts when Bitcoin dominance is raging. So this will move with Bitcoin with those nuances. It will move stronger to the downside than Bitcoin, but with Bitcoin. Also, it will move up with Bitcoin, but in a sluggish or sideways manner, right? In a more sluggish manner, most likely. All right. Oh yeah, Viacoin. Yeah, it got delisted, and after having 2 bull markets of 250,000% run or more, crazy. Yeah, it's one of my worst calls as a YouTuber. One of my absolute worst calls. But everybody's got them, and that's why I'm wearing it as a reminder. Be a little bit more careful, especially when you're talking with folks. Be reserved. Be ready for bearish ideas when everybody's bullish. Just always be prepared for that. Yeah, I saved this shirt for a reason. Like, so for anybody new, the other glaring, what's the other worst thing I did in my 4 years of doing this? Oh, yeah, I remember. Right before the Wyckoff pattern played out in 2021, roughly in May, it was May 21st, 2021, roughly. Because Ethereum and Cardano were flying up as Bitcoin was making, I'll just show you, actually. Watch. This is the most I put my foot in my mouth ever as a YouTuber. Watch. And you can learn from it too. Like, it's very instructive. Like, mistakes are instructive. Yeah, this is probably my biggest mistake. At least it wasn't monumental mistake, but it was embarrassing. But, whatever. And it's still out there. I didn't delete the video. I actually use it to refer to it. It's an instructive moment. So if you're new here, and you're hearing me say that, and that sounds appealing to you, that's when you hit the like button and or share the content of this channel with your friends, so they are prepared for everything and aren't listening to folks who delete their videos when they're wrong. All right, yeah. So here we go. 64K roughly. It's 2021. Should be late April here, and this should be about May 21st, roughly right there. May 12th. Sorry, I had it backwards. 1 and 2. Yeah, May 12th. So, I really thought it was May 21st when that drop happened, though. I guess you have 12 and 21 together. See this down here? Yeah. I could just see the snapshot in I'm a very visual person. I got pseudo photographic memory, and I just saw it backwards. All right. Anyway, I didn't remember it. I could see it in my brain. But I think I said the 21st. But anyway, so check this out. Here's the daily chart, and then I got to go. My biggest mistake, my most embarrassing thing I've ever said as a YouTuber. All right? So Bitcoin at here was making I already knew there was bearish divergence. I had been talking about bearish divergence since freaking March 16th. It's still there. March 16th. No, not March 16th. It's March something. It's a thumbnail that's purple with a poop on it. You can refer to it. I was trying to warn people, Bitcoin has to go down to 42,500. There's too much bearish divergence. It's simply going to happen. Did it happen? It did, and slightly a little bit lower, right? But I was yelling at people to sell, and that's partly what made my channel grow, is trying to get people to take profits. And in the end, it did work. But I did, in the middle there, I said something embarrassing. Here's what it is. So after all this time waiting on this bearish divergence, which you can see on the RSI here. So watch. High, lower high, lower high, lower high. But all these are higher highs in price. I'll mark these off. That's what bearish divergence is when the RSI is doing this. So these are all lower highs, but priced at a higher high each time. See that? And here, yet another lower high on that other chart, but it's another higher high. It essentially, quote unquote, has to correct when that happens. Like when you get 3 and 4, you're on the verge of having a big meltdown. If you have, and I call those strikes of bearish divergence. So I was making videos, like honestly, be entertained how I didn't even know how to use a microphone. Like it was bad. I was just starting. I was like 2 weeks into YouTube, but I was trying to warn people it's getting ready to drop. Like I really did. Like I was over and over. It's still out there. Look for the poop thumbnail roughly in March 2021. But then here, after Bitcoin daily took out its low, okay, so technically 2 lows. Here's well, that's just one move. So high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low. You need to be careful after, especially the daily, well, even 4 hour, but the daily time frame and bigger. If you break your trend, if you take out a low from a high, it's statistically likely the next thing is a lower high. However, although I knew that, I did not appreciate it because at this same time, I didn't know I was being trapped by big money who was purposely pumping Ethereum and Cardano making higher highs as this lower high was forming. And all the while, they were taking on shorts here on Bitcoin, trapping people with Ethereum and Cardano. And I got trapped into that. And so what I said was after it crossed 50K, like right here, okay, and then it did this guy. So then it went on top and bounced, and this candle here, it might have been on this day. It might have been on April 30th, 2021. Like, if you want to go try to find me, say the most embarrassing thing I've ever said in 4 years or whatever. It's somewhere around this day. I said, well, with Ethereum and Cardano going up the way it is, I don't think Bitcoin will ever go below 50K again. And then it was how many days? It was 12 days later. I thought it was more recent than that, but yeah. So that is an example of going from, oh shit, I am bearish, to, oh man, I got to switch, I'm bullish now. And then the move finally plays out that you were waiting for that whole time. It sucked. But it was a nice instructive moment. So warning, if you have an uptrend and you're a moon boy and you see the daily trend be broken, it goes down below the last daily lower or higher low, you should expect over a 50% chance that the next move up will get trapped under roughly a 45 degree, not quite a 45, it's more like 25 degrees. It will get trapped under an angle roughly like that. So you can just pick a point like this. Like, it's just that angle almost every time. It's over a 50% chance that it'll get trapped under there. Now, a lot of times the way it resolves itself is it does get rejected, but then it makes a higher low and then goes over it. And that's where your pennants come into play. So that's that. But it is more than 50% likely to get rejected, because even if it gets rejected, that's okay. It satisfied 50%, like the rejection side. But within those 50%, some end up breaking up afterward, because then they put in a higher low after that. Does that make sense? Form a pennant. All right. So I should have waited for a higher low while expecting this, but I didn't. That was my bigger mistake. I should have waited for the higher low to be confirmed, and then I should have said, I think Bitcoin might never go below 50K ever again. Yeah. So hopefully found that instructive, me sharing with you my two biggest mistakes as a crypto YouTuber across almost 4 years to the date. If you liked what you saw or any part of what you saw, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Don't hesitate to share the link to this video with friends or your crypto geeks, coworkers, people who might be interested, or folks who you know are super bullish and are blindly bullish. This could sober them up. I'm going to have a follow-up video in the near future going over the fifth item that I was going to cover to show why a 20K move down is still absolutely in the cards. Not probable, not 50% likely, but I would guess somewhere around 33 to 40% likely. Maybe not 40, but in a strong 30s. That would be my guess. But it's a strong possibility. And if you know people out there who are not listening, they just go sha-la-la-la like that. If they're a sha-la-la-la person and they've drunk the juice of the moon, of the crypto moons, do them a favor, share this video. See you next time. Peace.